Hey guys, welcome back to Fair Play Politics. It's your main man, Junior Izanu here, and I want to talk to you all about this election that just took place last week on November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th. Donald Trump defeated Kamala Harris, gaining 312 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 226. As a Democrat, a progressive Democrat, I may add, I want to have an honest conversation about what happened, what we can learn from it, and what we can do to improve in future elections. So y'all sit back, relax, and let's talk about it. So the very first thing that I would say that caused this massive victory for Donald Trump is definitely the economy. So a while back, I was interviewed on CBS, and they were asking me, as an elected official and as a politician, as a consultant, what were my thoughts on this election? What did I think was going to be the deciding factor? And I said the economy, as you'll see here.
I do think, though, this election will be decided on the economy, will be decided on how voters feel in trusting one candidate or the other, the presidential candidates, Trump or Kamala Harris, to deliver for people. People are really suffering. People are really struggling right now in this economy and in this world right now. The average American, the median American makes about $40,000. The median household is about $65,000. There's a lot of issues across the board, and voters don't want to hear how it happened, but what are you going to do to improve this situation?
Yes, so as y'all see, we called it. I mean, it's the economy. Inflation has hurt a lot of Americans, and we got to keep in mind, like I said on the video, the average American is making about $40,000 a year. The average family makes about $65,000, $70,000 a year. So folks really feel the pinch and the push from inflation. And I believe Joe Biden and the Democratic Party did a fairly good job to combat it while in office. But a lot of people just haven't seen the results of it, haven't seen the fruits of that labor. Regardless of what you think about Donald Trump, and I'm no fan of Donald Trump, we have to keep in mind throughout the campaign, although he has some really terrible rhetoric that he uses to talk about different groups of people, throughout the campaign, he talked about the economy. He talked about no taxes on tips for service workers, service employees, no taxes on Social Security, bringing back manufacturing jobs by renegotiating trade deals that hurt a lot of the Midwest and working class people, reducing the cost for energy. He talked about it. Whether we like it or not, we have to be honest. The economy was the focal point of his campaign, the campaign of a lot of national Republicans, and the campaign actually of a lot of national and local level Democrats as well. As we saw, although Kamala Harris did not perform well at the top of the ticket, a lot of Democrats did well down ballot, whether it's Senate elections, it's gubernatorial elections, it's state and local races, state reps, state Senate, city council, county commission races. You gotta focus on the economy. And the thing is, the Democratic Party has a lot to talk about on the economy. We can be empathetic and explain to folks that yes, people are suffering. We understand you're suffering. Inflation is a global issue. It's a global issue. But at the same time, we're working to make your life better. That's why we passed the American Rescue Plan. That's why we passed the Inflation Reduction Act. That's why we passed the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill. That Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill is going to rebuild our cities through our roads, our bridges, fix our airports, our seaports, provide real tangible results to the lives of people in our country. But we didn't communicate that well enough on the campaign. We didn't focus on those bread and butter issues throughout the entire campaign. Another issue that affected Kamala Harris's chances of winning this election was the fact that a lot of voters did not view her as a change candidate. And that's a big, big problem. There was a time when she went on The View back in October, I believe, or late September. And the host on The View asked her, what is one thing that you would do different than Joe Biden? And she said nothing came to mind. It was a big strike against her, especially already being in the administration. Folks are already pinning you to be the second term of Joe Biden. You really got to differentiate yourself, disassociate yourself from Joe Biden. Although I think he did a good job domestically, his domestic agenda, I think he did a really good job. A lot of folks don't feel it yet. Inflation is affecting a lot of people. So Kamala Harris not being able to distance herself hurt her. Donald Trump and the Republicans ran a lot of those ads gluing her to the Joe Biden presidency and saying that Joe Biden's policies were her policies. So that was a really negative thing that affected her and hurt her chances. Something that a lot of folks aren't talking about, but it played a substantial part into why Kamala Harris didn't win the election. And that's the fact that a lot of Democratic voters didn't come out and vote. In Dallas County in Texas, Dallas County, Harris County, in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, Milwaukee and Wisconsin, parts of Detroit and Michigan, a lot of key parts of the Democratic Party's coalition did not come out and vote. Turnout was down in our major cities, and turnout was up in the suburbs that voted for Donald Trump and the rural parts of America that voted for Trump. So it became a turnout issue. And some of that is because we did not focus on the issues that these voters of ours really care about right now, especially dealing with inflation. We didn't talk about making sure that we're going to work hard to raise their wages through good jobs that are secure. We didn't talk about healthcare. Throughout the campaign, I don't think we heard too much from Kamala Harris and national level Democrats about healthcare, expanding us to a public option system or a full-on universal healthcare system that's going to cover Americans. A lot of Americans can't afford healthcare, and it's a big burden that affects them, especially Democratic voters. This is a big reason why people were supporting Barack Obama back in 2008, 2012, because of Obamacare and the belief that we can build upon Obamacare to get to a public option system where you have private health insurance and a public option that will compete with the private industry, and then eventually possible a universal system. We didn't speak about a lot of these issues that affect our working class voters directly, and I think that's why we lost them. Yes, you're going to hear people talk about race and race and gender play a part, no doubt, but I don't believe it was determinative. I think it's the fact that a lot of voters across the country have felt abandoned by parts of the Democratic Party. They feel like we don't care about the working class, even though we do. A lot of the policies that we push for and get passed are working class agendas, middle class agendas, but how are we communicating that? How are we connecting point A to point B? How are we getting in front of these voters and speaking in the language that they understand? So those are a few of the reasons why I think we weren't successful in this election. And although it's painful, we can definitely learn from this and build towards 2026 and 2028. But the work starts now. We have to embed ourselves in the community, talk to these voters, understand where folks are coming from, understand their pain, empathize and sympathize at the same time, and let them know that our job as Democrats is to help. It's to bridge the gap. It's to work with you. Let's not demonize. Let's not attack groups of folks that didn't support us, because nobody owes us their vote. No demographic group owes us their vote. We got to earn each vote, every single vote at the ballot box. We have to go and earn it. So I want to encourage everyone that's disappointed to remain in good spirits. It's going to be tough, but America's a great country. We're going to get through this, and there are better days ahead for sure. But let's keep working. Let's keep organizing. Let's remember to support our neighbors, support our friends, and understand that our better days are definitely ahead and not behind. Appreciate you guys. See y'all soon. Take care.